Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining our fourth talk on this beautiful beach today in Cannes, the RTL beach. My name is Shaun Dix. I lead creative excellence at Ipsos globally. And I'm joined with the wonderful Aurélie Jacquemin, who's my co-host and moderator.
Hello, everybody.
Who's working with me in creative excellence, working on clients and marketing. And we have a wonderful debate or conversation that we're going to have here today. The topic that we're going to be talking about is audience or AI and the battle for creative effectiveness in short-form video. It's definitely the hottest topic around at the moment, and lots of people are talking about it, clients, etc. We are joined with a wonderful and fabulous panel. I will start by introducing each of them. Will Rolls, who's our agency partner and leads media effectiveness at Meta. Hi, Will. We have Carlo Ferrari, who is responsible for creative excellence globally at Opella. Hi, Carlo. We have Mario Dughi, who's working in design, digital, and media at Unilever. Thanks for joining us, Mario.
Hello.
Hey. And we have Archie Campbell, who's the co-founder of Vidsy. This is an absolutely amazing company that produces short-form video. Hi, Archie. Thanks for joining us. So, before we start, we thought we'd start with a video montage of a couple of pieces of work that you guys have been involved in or worked on, some ads that we may debate. So I think let's show those ads right now.
Let's show them the ads.
Don't get me wrong, I love it when he wears a kilt. And the matching PJs, well, I warmed up to them. But this time, he's taken the tartan too far. Tartan carpets everywhere.
It's the best for hiding dust, he says.
And thank goodness for Olivia. That's what I say.
You know what my sausage really needs? A dollop of hot stuff. This hot English gem gives my sausage a treat. Give me that hot stuff. The sauces are bland, you might as well be using custard, so spice your sausage up with some Coleman's mustard. Hello, hot stuff.
Yeah. My name is Ursiflora at Restore.
Chicken, crumbs of bread, lemon pepper, grab some eggs. Before you add that favorite sauce, heat it up, heat it up, heat it up. Toss on the pan, this food's never bland. I made it from scratch, I made it by hand, and now I feel great. I only want more, superior taste, superior north. So you could get with this, or you could get with that. You could get with this, or you could get with that. You could get with this, or you could get with that. But if you get with this, Nor's where it's at.
Shining bright. All the new refreshments, what we bring. Tis the season, it's always the real thing. Shining bright.
Wonderful. We'll come back to those ads. And there's definitely a theme in there. Music is certainly one of those great themes. But we know that there's a harsh reality. In fact, that normal, everyday people are probably not looking out for advertising. And we know that many years ago, we used to talk about the 5-second cliff. Now we talk about the 28 or 30-second scroll. So it's becoming even harder to basically capture people's attention. Before we dig into all of this, we'll take a moment to reflect on how short-form video has evolved. And we've seen it in the representation of these ads as well. And so we've seen the ads. Let's have a little bit more of a look at data.
On some insights, maybe. Right, because what is happening right now in the world of these short-form video formats, it's clear that we do see a creative shift. And the creators, the platforms, the global advertisers are definitely change their media investment and leverage AI almost everywhere, right? That's why we're talking about that today. And but the good part of this phenomenon is the fact that we are now focusing on creativity even more. and especially in these short formats, to try to make sure that we're boosting the business everywhere and boosting also the brand relationship with their audiences. So, and to embrace, by the way, this creative shift, we think that Ipsos actually, the brands need today to ask a few questions. So the first question is, which experiences basically matter most to audiences in this short form context, right? The second question should be, how, tactically speaking, can they maximize the chance to deliver an advertising that will be extremely effective and increase the ad effectiveness? And the third one is, of course, we are in this world of creators, right? So how, actually, in this short form context revolution, what kind of effectiveness value can the brand brings to them and make sure that they are leveraging their audiences in the right way to build equity for the brands? So, and to help answering actually those three questions, what we've been doing at Ipsos, we found tons of evidence because we tested 1,000 ads across the world, and we ending up with a single but strong outcome actually, that when it comes to the creativity ad effectiveness, it does, actually when you mix the creativity and the empathy, you will get an uplift of 20% in the ad effectiveness, right? So in the context of the short format, it's quite logically, by the way, that when we look now at how those key pillars are evolving in this particular context, you will see that short form videos, of course, the creative experiences, which means being entertaining, being surprising to capture your audience, so play a key role in boosting your memorability of the brand. But that's not all, because when you're comparing social video in feed and the short form videos, what is driving a lot of memory is actually this notion of empathy and the connection that you can have with your audience. So I think now is the time, Shaun, to speak a little bit more about how to dig into this short form format and how to make sure we have the right levers.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've seen the ads, guys. We're going to start with Will and Carlo first. Just ask you a few questions. So can you tell us about your own experiences when developing these kind of formats, these short form videos? What are the success criteria, the ingredients? What are the challenges that you've come up? Let's start with Will and then follow on with Carlo.
Right, well, you can see an image on the screen, and that one, I guess that's something I recommended. Did anyone play this game called Battleships when you were little? Yeah, it's a good game,
Yes,
right?
two.
So why have I chosen this image? This is a symbol for how a lot of people are still approaching advertising, which is just approaching everyone with the same approach. You're chasing one outcome, and you've got your campaign, and you try and get that kind of outcome. Now, it doesn't work because most of the time you miss, right? That's the way Battleships works as well.
Absolutely.
And people are different. Everyone here will react differently to a message. So a key thing, and one thing we are talking about because it works at Meta, is creative diversity. We call it compound branding. And that is that different ways of saying the same thing will work on different people.
Absolutely. Great stuff. Well, thank you very much. I love that analogy with battleships. Carlo, any thoughts to add?
I think it's key to connect with the audience and to brief the agency in the right way, which means sometimes listening to them. As marketers, we tend to try to cram all the messages that we think are so crucial for our consumers. Well, it's short form video, so people want to be entertained. And I don't remember who said, when you're crushing a party, bring champagne, and we don't want to serve warm beer, right? So the idea is make something that is native. The couple of ads that we showed earlier were very native and worked very well, much better than the rest of our content.
Lovely, I love that. So Archie, you work with a lot of big companies, including Opella, but many others. What, in your view, let's rephrase that. Many advertisers are speaking about large volumes of ads. We need to have, sometimes we hear hundreds, thousands. We know that context is different. What is your viewpoint on that?
It's a very delicate balance. There is no answer, unfortunately. If you're looking for a single number, I can't give it to you. I think the two ways to think about it is you've got creatives, and then you've actually got the placements. So you've got the content itself, and then all the different places that you can put it. And almost to use Will's analogy, if you want to hit the most kind of battleships, I think this analogy works, you want to put it in as many placements as possible. However, if you are putting creative that doesn't speak to the audience, as Carlo kind of says, it doesn't hit the best practices, it doesn't do it in an authentic and native way, you've now just put that in 40 different places where it won't work. So you've got to find that balance. My personal preference would be start on the creative, get the creative right, understand what you're trying to do with the brief and the objective, and then ensure that you're getting it in all the different placements. There is inventory there. If you want low CPMs, if you want great results, you've got to be covering every single placement that you can put the content out on.
And you were responsible for working on the Coleman's ad.
Yes.
Is that a perfect example of what you've just described?
Yeah, so I'd say the great thing about Coleman's, and to plug you guys, when we ran it through the kind of Spark AI tool, it obviously came up as having brand impact, showcasing that it did something a little bit disruptive. But we actually ran that within a suite of 12 other assets. So it kind of shows for that to rise to the top, it needs to go against other kind of pieces of content. And similarly, we didn't just run it in that 916 placement, it ran in other placements as well, so that we could make sure that it was in, it was wherever it could be, and that's how we got the most effective results for that campaign.
Beautiful and exceptional. So thank you so much, Archie. So now, dear speakers, I would like to tap into another kind of trend, right? I was speaking about the content creators. They are everywhere. And I would like to start with a little bit of insight on this topic. So according to Ipsos, which is a great company, by the way, actually the creator-produced ads are much more effective than professional agency-produced. Right, so I would like to ask you a few questions about, how do you think in terms of potential those kind of ads have in your market and in your business? So maybe I want to ask you first, Carlo, on this topic, and then I will go to you, Archie.
I think that creators play, of course, an important role, but I'm not always sure if they can build also brands from a long term, right?
Yes.
If we talk about influencers, they have, the audience, but whenever it's about making short form video, because that's what we're talking about, I think they can build brand salience. I'm not sure if it's for long term. Long story short, we love using creators and they are fundamental, but I wouldn't focus on them for long term brand building.
Okay, what's your view on it, Archie?
I think me and Carlo are going to have a bit of a fight. But that's why you have, a few different points of view on a panel.
Good to debate.
I think for me, someone said it at lunch I was at this week, like no CMO has ever been fired for making a TV ad, right? Because for the last 60 years, people have been making them. What they would possibly, hopefully not get fired for, is taking a gamble and trying something different. I think creators are fantastic at building brands and building content that helps build brands. And I think all you have to look at is something like Hailey Bieber selling her entire company for $1 billion. She's built a brand herself as a creator. Now, when we look at how kind of current agencies, current brands are trying to use creators to kind of build brand and build brand equity, I think they're trying to go through it with a traditional lens. And I think that's where it's going a little bit wrong. But creators is about authenticity. Authenticity is about connection. Building brand is about creating memories. Connect all the dots together. I don't see why it wouldn't work.
Awesome.
I'll side with Archie on that one.
All right.
Thank you. Yeah, so Carlo, 2 against 1 at the moment. Where's Mario?
I will come to that after a while. Okay, so I would like to ask your perspective, Mario, because I've been amazed by the work you're doing with Clinipedia. So if you could tell us more, what is it about and what's your strategy behind this initiative?
Can you guys hear me? Yes. As a way of introducing myself, I look after a content-first brand called Clinipedia, which is a TikTok and Instagram account present across 18 markets where we really work with creators to bring to life our cleaning knowledge and experience. So I look after the digital area of the home care category, by the way. And with Clinipedia, we truly started to work with creators in a different way. I know you guys know that Unilever now is investing quite a lot in creators. In terms of what you guys were talking about, I think I sit in the middle. We need both branded content.
Where's the opinion?
Wait a second. We need both of them. They do different things. Unilever has been always very good at branded content, which is why I think now the focus is shifting over to creators.
Yes.
To actually dial up that aspect of authenticity that you guys touched on. But it's really interesting to see how the two words are now coming together in a way. And to see how brands can come across strongly, even through the voices of creators.
Really impressive and very good point of view. Thank you for for this. Will, I can see you craving to say something about this, so I would like to hear your perspective.
No, I mean, I love a panel where there's a difference in opinion. I think creators largely exist because they are better than brands at making stuff that is native to the platform. There is no law that says a brand can't make stuff that has got creator-like qualities to it, and we love seeing that. You know, just grab a mobile phone or even some Ray-Ban Metas and just shoot something with those.
Yes.
But I've seen it time and time again. You don't need a logo necessarily to build a belief in a brand. You can just, you know, if you see and hear from that brand enough and it's doing something for people emotionally, then that brand equity will be built.
Yeah, I think we do have some enlightenment in the fact that it has to connect in a very emotional way, an empathetic way, you know, to the brand, and to talk in a very relevant way to the audiences in the end. So, glad, thank you so much. So, what about AI, Shaun? Maybe we should dig into this topic. What do you think?
This is saucy. So AI in the loop. So there's a lot of debate, obviously here again, but in the industry about there are almost two worlds colliding, right? We have the creative side of the business, who are much more for the human side of things. There's AI is going to replace everything more or less, and we saw last year November the launch of this Coca-Cola ad that we saw in the reel earlier, which was their holiday ad that was launched early November, which created a lot of debate on LinkedIn in the media, and in fact, the media were frying Coca-Cola for creating a Christmas ad using AI. We actually tested the ad, and you can see from the results here that it did really, really well, actually, because of course, the Coke ad uses distinctive brand assets that everybody knows, the music that everybody knows. So, irrespective of whether the quality is the best that we've ever seen. Nevertheless, this is a big topic in our industry, and there is an intersection of AI and creativity, and I wanted to ask, first of all, your opinions on this. So I will start first with you, Mario, to hear what your thoughts are on this topic and where you see the advertising industry going.
Look, for me, this Cannes has been the one in which actually my key learning was about this topic of AI. And I want to connect to the first session that was held at the Palais by Apple, which was called Human After All,
Yes.
which I found incredible. And it resonates with me very much because it reflects actually my point of view on AI. AI is an enabler, is a magnifier of content quality. It doesn't replace the fact that as marketeer, we still need to connect with people in a way that feels human and that actually sparks an emotional reaction. And so if AI is used to achieve that, I'm fine with AI. But if it's used just to automate content production, generate efficiencies, that's where I actually face a challenge when it comes to AI.
I think. Sorry to interrupt. I think you said something when we were preparing this interview, which was really stunning. So you said that actually it was really about magnifying the output and not any commoditize it, right?
In my role, I also look after in-house design studios for Unilever Home Care, they're called Sketch Pro. We use AI, but what I tell my teams all the times is first understand the brief, understand what is the emotion that you want to generate. If AI can help you to do that, and again, as you rightly said, enhance the creative output and quality, by all means use it. But bear in mind that at the end of the day, again, it's about connecting with people. And sometimes what connects with people, I don't know, it's a misspelled word. It's not necessarily the algorithmic perfection or the AI-generated pristine content.
Love that. But Archie, you guys at Vidsy are creating a lot of content. What's your point of view on this? Because you must see a lot of changes going on as a somebody working in the creative business, right?
Yeah, there's so much noise, I think is the first thing, right? Like, you know, every single week there is something new coming out and it can be relatively distracting. I agree with Mario, though, that it's a tool, right? And it's a tool that can be used well. It's a tool that can be used poorly. My dad, whether he's watching, I don't know if he got the link, but he's 76 years old. I've showed him how to use ChatGPT, and he is just, you know, his mind is blown. But also, some of the things he creates are fantastic because he knows what he wants to see. He has a creative vision. That doesn't mean instantly everyone is going to be able to do that. And I think kind of echoing what was said already, AI is going to allow everyone to kind of like raise the floor. Best practices are going to improve. I don't know if anyone saw Amplified's report that came out this week that $198 billion worth of media is wasted every year on poor creative, which for me was a pretty big number.
Yeah.
And I think that will allow that to improve. But I think for people like us, you know, a mid-sized company, it also lowers the ceiling. Because now we have the potential to do things that we previously didn't have the budget to do or didn't have the exposure to be able to achieve. So I think if you see it as an opportunity, that is great. The things that I worry about, similar to yourself, is budgets, timelines, and then briefs. If they all get weaker, because AI means we can do it cheaper, we can do it quicker, we can do it without having a brief, the content will suffer. And so I think if anyone here is planning on using it, don't look to kind of halve your time. Don't look to halve your budget. Look to see how it can amplify the results with everything staying the same at present. Or at least please try that. But yeah, it's exciting. It's uncertain. And I think we haven't seen the best yet, that's for sure.
Thank you, Archie. Maybe Will. So tell us about your view, because we're here to debate.
Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of headlines recently about the effect of AI and Meta's own position on what it will mean for agencies. I'll say this, which is that AI is going to vastly increase the number of people, number of businesses, no matter how small, who can do an ad campaign. Now, if you're a plumber or a kiosk or a local corner store, switch on that and you can have a video without having an agency. But then the question goes to those with agencies, how are you going to rise above that? How are you going to get something more daring and unusual? And I'll say this as well, which is that AI wants to test and it wants to learn. And there's a mentality shift. I was in one of your other sessions where, I don't know what the numbers were, but you were testing two routes. And one was preferred by 60% of people and the other was preferred by 40%. Now, the human approach to that would be, well, I'll take the one that's appealing to 60%. The AI is going to go, we'll do both. Because why would you want to give up on something that appeals to 40% of your audience?
Absolutely. Amazing. What about your opinion, Carlo?
We have AI content factory in-house too. Working in consumer healthcare, it's very innovative for us. And we are really seeing how this is enabling us to connect better with the audience because before that, we were not doing anything. So now that we have a lot of content that is going out, we can test more, we can see what resonates with people. Fun fact, if you use AI to create scenes, things that could be created in a studio, people are going to blame it, are going to not like it, are going to say, oh, you look like you're the cheap corporate that is using AI to cut out producers. But if you are doing something inventive, new, different, AI can really expand universes.
I love that. Absolutely. So, we've come to almost the end of the talk, but stay with us because we do have a surprise, guys. So, but before going to this surprise, I just want to summarize a little bit what we've said today. So the first point I would like to raise is really about this notion of audience and embrace, first creativity. The second point is really about basically creators being the catalyst of effectiveness and being creative, special creativity in this area. Of course, we didn't tap into that much into these third point, but visual experience and music, but visual experiences as well matter a lot when it comes to be creative and short format video content. Of course, that is quite obvious, right? That we need to adapt the context and the content to the platform. And I think we all agree that AI is really useful, but more for creative optimization and not really creativity. So, Shaun, what's come next?
So we have a surprise. So I think you can click on the chart. I think was first to say thank you very much. If you're interested in learning more about what we have to say in short form video, we have papers over there, and there's a QR code, but there are papers on your seat, so please take a copy. We've just dropped that paper last week. It's a combination of lots of learnings that we've got, and I would just say this is just the beginning, because we're learning a ton on this and really getting granular and providing a lot of learnings you could utilize. But the real surprise
The real surprise.
is for this campaign. So I think we'll roll the ad one
Yes.
more time, and then we'll call
Let's
Nick
watch
up,
it,
right?
please,
Yeah,
yes.
Let's watch it one more time.
Chicken, crumbs
You
of
can
bread,
dance if you
lemon
wish.
pepper, grab some
I will
eggs
dance,
before
for
you
sure.
add that favorite sauce. Heat it up, heat it up, heat it up. Toss on the pan. This food's never bland. I made it from scratch. I made it by hand, and now I feel great. I only want more. Superior taste, superior noise. So you could get with this, or you could get with that. You could get with this, or you could get with that. You could get with this, or you could get with that. But if you get with this, Nor's where it's at.
Whoa, awesome. Well done. And the surprise we have a bigger, even more important surprise. Sorry, I'm getting excited.
Go for it.
All right.
Aurélie, I love it.
So because we have actually with us Nick de Roche, who he's basically behind this wonderful campaign. So please, if you can come up on stage, because we do have a surprise for you. Nick from Unilever, well done. What a wonderful campaign. I mean, it's been raising, the top 10% of a database, which is really something. It does not happen every day. It's really hard, and the reason why it's doing this, it's because basically it's not just unique, it's not just entertaining, but it's also very empathetic. So, Nick, would you like, you need to sit on the cross. Look at that. It's nice to see you. So, Nick, if you want to say a few words about that, we will be happy to hear you and this success.
With pleasure. Thank you very much in the first place. Thank you very much. And I think, look, awards are always an indicator of consumer relevance. But I think now we have the science to back it up, right? And so we're really chuffed at receiving this and seeing this result. Because a couple of years ago at Knorr, we really started to connect with a new generation to make sure that Knorr had a fresh face and was recruiting a new generation of cooks. And in order to do that, of course, you need to be able to connect with culture. So a brand like Knorr wasn't really used to do something like that. So we really focused our teams on how can we do this? How can we connect with a new generation of cooks? And in order to do that, of course, you need to do one thing, and one thing really, really well, which is to entertain. And if you entertain in a landscape like this, you're probably doing all of the things we've just been talking about. Because if the objective is entertainment, you get the eyeballs, you get the liking, and the relevance will follow. So I am really grateful for accepting this award.
Thanks very much, Nick.
Thank you so much. And I'm doing this also on behalf, of course, of our North American team. So I want to thank the agency. I want to thank Zach. I want to thank Tim. I want to thank Rich. I want to thank our global IPG team for this, but also our most wonderful Gina Kirov, who leads our Knorr business in North America, for the courage to see this thing through. Oh, I'm almost wrecking your award. Yeah.
Sustainable, that's why.
And of course, I want to thank Ludacris, because as you can see, this is actually a creator built ad at large scale, whereby the agency resource and the agency creativity and core competence come together in collaborating with a partner like Ludacris to all make this one big, beautiful result for our brand in North America. So I want to thank you very, very much for this.
Thanks very much, Nick. So you've entered the Misfits Hall of Fame. Yeah. There are not many brands that have done that, so more rare than a lion. And your result was actually in the top 10% of our database in North America for TikTok, so congratulations, well done. And it's a fantastic example of what you can really do right in short form video. Thanks for joining us on stage.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you a lot, Nick, for this. Thanks a lot to our great speakers today. I would also like to give you a book, Misfits book. It's really about creativity and the definition about different industries. And look at me, it's really heavy. So if you want to help me, that would be nice.
Thanks very much.
Thank you so much for coming. We were so glad. So if you want to learn more about short format videos, we just released, as Shaun was saying, a paper about it. So I'm going to...
Can you sit down?
Oops, and everybody's fine.
Sit down.
Okay. Okay? I think we've done. We're good?
I think we're done. Thanks very much for joining us, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you for joining the panel.
Thank you so much.
Really appreciate it.